Hello, cool, attractive, and smart listener. Welcome to a brand new episode of the Geek Press Podcast. On today's episode, we're going to be talking about the series finale of Titans and give a brief overview of it overall, as well as going into our top 5 best and worst mothers in pop culture. Just in time for Mother's Day. That's right, Mom, I got you a podcast for Mother's Day. Please stop crying. I know I'm your worst son. I'm sorry. If you enjoy what you're listening to, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe across the board. Give us 5 stars on all your audio listening platforms so we can get so big, rise up the ranks, and I can get that sweet, sweet HelloFresh sponsorship money. Thanks for listening. Bye.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, ladies and nems. My name is Luis Gutierrez, and welcome to episode 51 of the Geek Press Podcast. That means we have been doing this for 51 weeks, okay? I'm quickly looking up how many weeks there are in a year. And
52.
52 weeks in a year, okay? And that means we are 1 week away from our 1 year.
You know what? I said that so confidently. I have no idea if that's true.
No, you were right.
Oh, I just know that because I'm a fucking nerd, and DC has a weird obsession with the number 52.
Mm-hmm.
So I was just like, oh, 52, why not? But then I guess if they're like 52 weeks in a year, like all our comics are year round. So I guess that's something.
You know, usually I kind of introduce my celebrity co-hosts, but this person
Oh.
needs no introduction. They have they have this bond to DC. You guys know him. You guys love him. And he likes to put all of his friends in his movies, which for some reason people hate. But I don't seem to mind at all. How you doing, Mr. Gunn?
Hey there,
James
Lewis.
Gunn?
How's it going, Lewis? How's it going?
Going pretty good. You know, I saw Guardians. I thought it was a pretty solid movie. I have my gripes with it, but overall,
Oh, I know. I listened to your podcast.
oh, thanks. Yeah, I know you listened. Overall, I liked it. You know, I think it was the best trilogy in the MCU. I think you did good. I like what you did with Peacemaker. I like what you did with Suicide Squad. I'm excited to see what you do going forward with the DC universe.
Oh, you know, I'm glad you enjoyed it. We have mutual friends, and we were talking about you. Everyone in the industry talks about you.
Yeah, I hope that's a good thing.
Yeah, I was talking to Cameron, and he was just like, "Oh, this guy, he seems like a really good kid." And I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna have to talk to him." So here we are.
So yeah, there we go. This is Mr. James Gunn. You know, I know you're busy. I have to bring back in my other co-host Noah. You wouldn't like him too much, but
Oh
thanks.
no, I know Noah. I don't care for him.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, you know, go have fun writing Superman. I'll talk to you later, Mr. Gunn.
Hey, goodbye.
Mr. James Gunn exits the scene, enters Noah.
Hey, sorry, Lewis. I was so late. What's going on?
Nothing at all. I just started recording.
Did you already? Oh, you just started recording. Okay, well, I'm sorry I was late. What's going on?
What's going on with me?
What you been listening to? What you been watching? What's happening?
So this week, I like finished. Well, I don't know if I like finished it, but like I kind of got like an unofficial sign off for my guide on Redfall. And it was that game is just it's dookie. It's ass. I think I've said it on the last podcast too. And I'm happy to not be playing that game anymore. But on the flip side of things, it's so interesting because I have a lot of confidence in what I write, you know. When I do guides, I have a lot of confidence, and when I write news stories, I feel confident in what I do. But for some reason, I've been finding myself having a lot of anxiety when I'm writing with, like, you know, certain publications. I'm not gonna say which ones. And it's like not because they're like they're mean or anything. It's just because they're a lot more particular of how they like their things. You know?
Yeah.
And that's not a bad thing. I'm not, you know, I don't want any listeners to like. Again, I'm not gonna name drop which publication, which it is, but it's like they like things very particular, and I'm not bashing them at all. I'm trying to like make sure that's very clear. I'm not talking shit. It's just it's a me thing, and I get a lot of anxiety when I write for them, and I'm just like yeesh, and it's something I've been kind of like battling with as of the last maybe like month or two, give or take, you know. And I need to get over that because yeah, I just really need to get over it. And they're all cool for the most part. Like I've never really ran into like a dick editor. Maybe one time I'm like, oh man, that was a little mean, but I know it didn't come off like things get misconstrued over text. So yeah, they're all cool, but I just been like getting a lot of anxiety as of late, but that's something I need to like
Mhm.
battle. But that hasn't stopped me from writing. So it's just like every time I'll submit an article, it goes through the process of editing and whatnot. I'm just like, yee, like I feel like my heart pumping. I get anxiety. I don't know how else to put it. So
Mhm.
that's something I have been kind of working on right now. Is just battling my anxiety because this is my job. This is how I have to learn to I don't know how to like the right terminology, but like essentially get over it, or at
Mhm.
least to combat it. And I feel like the only way to combat it is by getting better as a writer. And so
Mhm.
I have been like going over edits. I've been going over like I've been looking at how other stories are written, and it's helping. It's helping for sure. Like my little stretch.
Mhm.
I know you didn't ask all that, but I kind of wanted to talk about that just because we talk about our feelings and stuff. So I wanted to
Actually, I never talk about my feelings on this show.
some high school shit,
Uh,
huh?
yeah, some high school shit. No, it's kinda toxic to say that. I have a friend that said that in before, and I don't know if they still hold that same opinion.
I
I'm
hope
just
not.
like, it's not childish to have feeling. Like, it's just a human.
Yeah,
It's how you deal with those feelings is shows your maturity, and ignoring them is something a child would do. So I don't know, that says more about you than me. I don't know.
yeah. So that's what's like been my biggest thing this week is just
Mhm.
kind of battling with anxiety a little bit. And I haven't really been doing too much. Like I haven't been going to the gym. I've been lazy. I need to fix that again. It's so hard to like
Mhm.
there's I don't know. It's really kind of I'm making excuses when I'm saying, "Oh, I'm not going to." I know I'm 100% aware, but I need to carve out time to do that, because it's good for me. It's good all across the board, It helps my mental health. It helps me wake up. It helps me get some blood pumping. There's no reason why you shouldn't exercise unless you have like a severe disability. That you know that's your reason. But even then, like I feel like there's no reason for you not to exercise.
Mhm.
Sorry, I was rambling a lot.
No, it's okay. You still take your dog out for walks and stuff.
Oh
You That's
yeah,
some sort of exercise, right?
yeah, and I love taking her out for walks. She's awesome.
Yeah, your dog's alright, I guess. That's alright. She's
um,
not the worst.
also too, I was talking to enemy of the podcast, Nat Diego. I hope he's doing well though. I think he's about to
Rudy?
graduate, right?
Oh,
Uh
Diego already graduated.
oh, congratulations. Um, but yeah, I was talking to Rudy, true enemy of the podcast, Rudy. So he is gonna be graduating soon. Shout out to Rudy. He's gonna be getting
Shout
his
out to Rudy.
master's degree. I forget in what exactly, but it's in like
Uh,
Latino studies.
yeah,
That's
something like
like
that.
yeah, that's the category of Latino studies. And Rudy is the only person that I know, like on a good personal level, that I would consider a friend who has a master's degree now. Well, he's about to have it. So I've been talking to him little by little, and I've been kind of like flirting with the idea again of going back to school and getting a master's degree.
Ooh, flirting with him.
Yeah,
He's a
and
little tall for you, don't you think?
yeah, but it's right there in like dick shot area. So, so I've been talking to him a little bit because and this is no secret between my friends, but
Mhm.
I've been thinking about going back to school again. So I was talking to him because I don't remember how to fill out any of my college application shit. When I did that for the university from Rio Hondo to Dominguez Hills, I that's like a fucking fever dream. I don't remember how I did any of that. So, I talked to Rudy and he's gonna kind of help me walk through that process again because I essentially told him I was like, Rudy, I don't know how else to put this, but I kind of need you to hold my hand on this. He was like, Don't trip, I got you. And so I'm gonna be
Aw.
looking into some programs. to see how it is because Elizabeth, my real girlfriend who's not fake, is also going to be graduating next semester. She's going to be a winter graduate, so that's perfect because I believe majority of master's programs, at least for the CSUs, I could be wrong, but they only accept you for the spring. That's spring. Winter. Yeah, they only accept you for the winter. I don't think they do spring administrations. So it lines up perfect because it gives me a whole fucking, couple of weeks to look into programs to really weigh out the pros and cons, yada yada yada, and then Rudy's gonna help me out and fill out the whole process. So yeah, that's kind of been.
Mm-hmm.
I've been a little bit of anxiety, a lot of work, and a lot of planning.
I'm
Sorry,
sure.
I rambled a lot.
Okay.
Noah, how's your week been? I hope you haven't been fighting as much anxiety as I've been, and tell me how
Mhm.
you've been holding up.
I feel like we're switching places because usually I'm the anxiety riddled one and you're the confident, relaxed one, and now we're slowly switching places for what we're known
It's
for.
a Freaky Friday
Oh
situation.
no!
You could
Oh
be
no!
Jamie Lee Curtis.
All right. I love Jamie Lee Curtis, but then again, I don't want to be a white woman, so I don't know. It's tough. But hey guys, I'm Noah. I'm the co-host of
Really
this
quick.
podcast. Yeah. Oh
We
my god.
we we
Oh my
could we
god.
could bring it
Oh my
back.
god,
We could
Lewis.
bring it back as a totally tone deaf version and just have like people of color just for the sake of having people of color into the plot,
Mhm.
That would be ours. It'll be like freaky week or I don't know. That sounds like a porn actually. Never mind.
I think it's crazy that I can't go for 30 seconds without you interrupting me.
Uh, I'm surprised you went that long without me interrupting you.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, no, we could have it really insensitive and have it be like a white man and a black person, and then they're like and then the white guy's just like, "Wow, maybe racism is real." Just like that.
Oh God.
Like, really insensitive, just like, we should not like, conservatives love it.
I remember as a kid, there
Mhm,
was this like cartoon we watched in class, and oh my god, it's so funny because I'm pretty sure you may have watched it too. Because Elizabeth
mhm,
brought it up with me a little ways back, and I'm like, okay, she watched it in elementary, and she like grew up not within like the SoCal region. So it
mhm,
was this thing. It was supposed to like teach kids about racism and stuff. And it's these two kids. One of them is a little white kid, and the other one is a black kid. And
mhm,
it's the basic plot of the animated movie. And they're friends, they're getting along, yada yada yada, and they're learning about Martin Luther King Day. For whatever reason, they travel back in time and meet MLK. And they're like, "Oh, we gotta bring you into the present time. Look at this." It's like this super heartfelt thing. And
mhm.
when they bring him back into the present time, it turns out since because Martin Luther King never died, I guess. I don't know how else to phrase this. He
Mhm,
never died. His cause and all of that never really came to fruition, and a lot of the black movement kind of stopped right there. So when he goes back into present day, it's just like full of racism and shit. And so they have to like send him back in time and kind of write the timeline, I guess you could say. And I remember like thinking, I was like, this is kind of like extreme as a little kid watching this.
I've
So
never heard of this
you've
before in my
never heard
life.
of it?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Oh my god, fuck! That's your guys' early homework assignment to look that up.
Is there a name that goes with it, or is it just something you watched?
You know what? You tell me how your week is. I'm gonna look it up and then I'll interrupt you again.
It's okay. Hi everyone. I hope you're doing well. My week's going okay. I had some finals for school, which was necessarily just turning stuff in. So luckily, I don't have any big things because I know enemy of the podcast Rudy had like a 13-page paper. But then again, I'm getting my BA. He's getting his master's, so it's a bit different level because a master's you have to have like a theory to submit to the board. You have to be like, this is what I learned. This is what I'm talking about. So it's a whole different thing. So love that for him. Love that for me. So yeah, this upcoming week is my graduation. I've said this before on the podcast, I'll say it again. My mom is so excited, like infinitesimally more excited than I am because I'm just so tired. It's like that point in my school career where I'm just like, "I'm done. Wrap me up. throw me in the oven because I'm a turkey that's stuffed and ready for Thanksgiving. Like,
Is
pop
that
me out.
is that a gay thing?
No, that's just like a theory.
Oh, no, I just wanted
That's
to say
not like this is a saying.
that. No, I know, I just
Just like
wanted to fuck with you.
not. I like to think like I start breathing. I'm like, and you're just like, is that a bisexual thing? Is that something bisexuals do? Do they breathe? And I'm just like, yeah, straight people don't breathe. I'm sorry. You have to stop or else you're
But
gay.
okay, so really quick to backtrack to what we were
Mhm.
saying, I quickly found it out. I Google
Okay.
searched animated movie where MLK goes back to the present day, and it's the movie
Mhm.
called Our Friend Martin. And a quick Google search says Our Friend Martin is a 1999 American direct-to-video animated children's educational film about Martin Luther King Jr. and the Civil Rights Movement. So yeah,
Mhm.
go look at that. It
I will
has
say, fun fact, in the CW show, Legends of Tomorrow, which deals with time traveling,
I think I know what you're
uh,
talking about.
uh, the the Flash villain Gorilla Grodd tries to kill a young Barack Obama while he was in college. So that's another that's another it's like, yeah, that's just a part of the thing. So yeah, that's just a fun fact I wanted to let everyone know about.
What does he say too? Like he says like a quip or something. I remember I've seen the clip.
He just honestly, they didn't have money to pay anyone, so they just stole audio from the Boondocks with that really racist uncle. So he just said, like, a bunch of obscene things.
All right. Go on. Talk about how
But okay.
you're a turkey in the oven.
I'm a turkey in the oven, and I'm ready to be popped out, but my mom's very excited because I'm so far I will say so far because I can always go back. So far, I'm the only one of her kids to graduate college. So she's, like, really excited. She was like, "Oh, should we get a banner made? Should I
Oh,
order a
that's
taco
cute.
man?" And she's very excited. I'm just like, I don't know. Whatever you
That's
want."
very
And she's
cute.
like, "No, what do you want?" I'm just like, "I don't want a banner of myself."
Like, Mom, I just want to go to the cellar and just drink some beer.
Honestly, I just wanna go to the cellar and get some White Claws, so, like, you can join me if you want, but, like, I gotta get my raspberry claw on. Yeah, that's what I told her, but no. Yeah, like, I don't even have, like, grad pictures shot, which is funny because I
to
know several photographers, and I don't even have, like, grad
to
photos
to be
done.
fair, you can do that any day of the week.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
I might do them like, outside because for some reason, because I go to school in Long Beach, and our thing is in, Anaheim at the Angel
that's
Stadium,
so
so it's a
weird,
very far.
right?
Yeah, there's a whole honestly, I would say anyone that's interested, it's an interesting topic, actually. Search, CSULB graduation walk, and there's a bunch of articles, there's some good videos. They're sticking to these COVID era things where they're
We all know
not
that's
really
fake, by the
shouting
way. I'm just
names.
kidding. Don't listen to me on that. That was a bad joke. All right.
Oh my gosh, I have to tell you something, but, yeah, so they're sticking to a COVID era, even though a lot of the colleges around us don't do that. So, lots of people are protesting it, but it's not changing. I don't know if it'll change anytime soon. But yeah, so that's coming up, and I need to tell you something crazy. There's an old friend of my friend group that I don't follow just because they're so right. It's insane.
Like
Like
the
they've
right
fallen
on
down the
like
pipe.
the political spectrum.
They're
Like,
yeah, political spectrum. And but my other friends still follow them because they think it's funny to make fun of them. And this person said, "That is very true to this tweet. Being depressed is selfish. Spreading that negative energy all day to everyone. You're depressed because you're ungrateful. You live better than every king who ever existed. Snap the fuck out of it. You're using self pity to avoid taking responsibility over your own feelings." And this friend who's no longer a friend liked and commented and said, "This is very true."
oh my god, what
And
are
it's
you
just like,
doing
I don't know. So I think it's almost pathetic. But yeah, I needed to mention that just because
on this
people are
podcast? We
insane.
talk shit about people.
We do talk shit about people. Well, we try not to uh we try not to say their names, but we make it very suggestive.
Like if you know us,
Yeah.
you can figure out really quickly who we're talking
Like
about.
Like, a voice actor and animator I hate, his name rhymes with Beth McWarlin. I hate that guy.
You don't like
Like,
him? Oh, he's cool.
no, I mean, like, we make it very
Mhm.
heavy-handed. Like, we try to disguise it, but it just fails. It was like, yeah, somebody named Balix. We just hate that guy. He's awful. Just like but yeah, graduation's coming up for me. I watched the finale of the Titans, the HBO
Mhm.
show, and I'm here early homework for everyone because we assign homework at the end. Titans #1 is coming out the 16th. Go to your fucking comic book shop. I'm telling you right now, I'm legally gonna track you down. Everyone who listens to this podcast, go to your comic book store or buy it online. Support this book. I'm very worried on whether or not it's gonna be good. So fingers crossed. But aside from the comic, I watched the HBO show. It was a mess like it always is, but no, because I feel like one of the big differences between Lewis and I is that I can enjoy when things are bad. Like I can find like fun stuff about them, but I feel like you, Lewis, you're more like, I don't want to watch this. I don't like it. Stop.
Yeah, I'm
Uh,
I'm a lot more
mhm,
hypercritical of the TV I watch. Like, for example, a good the only show that I watched that continuously got bad because the beginning was so good was Community.
mhm,
That that's a prime example of a show that should have ended a long time ago.
mhm,
And that's one of the only shows I did, but another one is Arrested Development. That show is really good. It's really funny for like the first couple of seasons, and I never
mhm.
finished it because of how fucking bad it got. I was like, "Oh my god,"
Ish.
but yeah, once a show, like, is really bad, I'll just drop off. I'm like, "This isn't worth my time." Because I feel like we're living in the golden age of television. Shout out to the writers striking, but we live in the golden age of television, and yeah, we shouldn't be watching that shit, you know? There's plenty
Mhm.
there's a gold mine of content you could watch.
I'm not gonna say no to that. I'm not gonna say no to that, but if I stopped watching Titans when it was bad, I would have given up after the first season. So,
I think the
yeah,
first
jokes
season was probably the best season too, wasn't it?
I feel like a lot of fans think the second is maybe the best, simply because, the villain they had Deathstroke on, and it was really good. I thought the story was really compelling. But, the thing about Titans is that it's always so messy, but I feel like there are certain characters that they do really try to get you invested, like, Starfire, Superboy, and Beast Boy are the 3 characters I've always cared about a lot, and they got a lot to do this season, so I was really excited for them. And it's funny, it's really sad to be excited, but we saw Starfire fly in the show, and I was just like, that should be a basic thing she should be able to do. But the fact that she was finally able to do it, I was like, "Oh, yeah, good for her." So I have thoughts and opinions on that show, but I enjoy it. That's
Like
mostly all I've been
like
watching and
what?
reading.
Because I've
Mm.
seen I've seen at the end of Titans, they do, like, a cameo of Superman's shoes, and I sent you a tweet about it. Like, that's all you see is his shoes when, like, Superboy's, like, tying his shoes, and he's like, "Hey, nice to meet you, I'm Superman," and then that's, like, how it ends, right?
Yeah, it's this whole thing where, like, everyone's going their separate ways, like, "Oh, we're going," and Superboy's just like, "Yeah, for some reason, Clark's just been fucking annoying me, and to make it up to me, he's gonna teach me how to fly because 'cause I'm terrible at flying right now." And then it's like they show his boots, and it's always so funny. I think it'd be insane if they hired Henry Cavill for just that one cameo. Like, imagine if they just had Henry Cavill and they just showed him. Like, imagine how fucking freaked out people would be. Like the store, like, "Oh, Henry Cavill on Titans? What does this mean?" Like, everyone would just freak out, and it would be very funny. So I think one day they should just do they're never gonna do it, but they can't anymore, but I think that would have been very funny.
Yeah.
But mhm.
But how did it end? Like, what was going on? Because I know, like, Batman gave
Mhm.
up on Gotham, the Joker's, like, kind of
Oh, that's season 3.
Oh, so Batman, like, came out of retirement, and he's like, "Alright, he was like, I take it back, like, we're back in action." Walk me through the
Uh,
whole show really quick. Like,
oh my
just give
god.
me
Okay.
the major plot points of season 1, 2, 3, 4,
Yeah. I'm
whatever.
gonna try to remember this. If you don't wanna watch Titans, if you wanna watch Titans, I'm gonna say, "Why?" And second of all, if you don't wanna get spoiled, don't listen.
Yeah,
Jump ahead.
all
Mhm.
5 future fans.
Okay. season 1 of Titans, it has a very dark, dreary tone. It is about Dick Grayson, who meets this girl, Rachel. They eventually are joined by Hawk and Dove, Starfire, Beast Boy, as they go to discover what the fuck is going on with Trigon the Demon, the father of Raven. And due to weird production stuff, the season finale was pushed to the first episode of season 2, but I'll just count it as a season finale. They beat Trigon, he gets captured in a gem, and it's on Raven's head. That's season 1, the season 1 story. Season 2 has an expanded roster where they have a couple more characters. They have Ravager, Donna Troy, Superboy, like lots of more characters in it. And basically, this one's about Deathstroke and the messy history the Titans have with Deathstroke. Like, he killed some of them. They accidentally got his son killed. It's a whole thing. It's a very fun season. I enjoy it. The only gripes I have really is that the cast is so big. It's like hard to keep track of characters.
Side note, I was
Mhm.
just thinking about how Deathstroke's daughter's always a cutie. And
Mhm.
if you guys want to read a cool story about Deathstroke, Red Hood, and his daughter, you should read Deceased Unkillables. It's a good story
Mhm.
that revolves around the three of them. Sorry, I just
No, it's
thought of
okay.
that. Go for it.
That is a good story between them. And that's Titan season 2, so they fight Deathstroke. A couple people die, but don't worry, it's comics, so come back. Season 3 is they're in Gotham. Jason Todd, who's been kind of like a mess, because he's been in the show too. He's kind of a mess. He goes after the Joker, gets killed. Bruce Wayne, in retaliation, like it's kind of obvious Bruce Wayne is like a fucking mess.
And isn't he what's his face from Game of Thrones?
He's Jorah Mormont from Game of Thrones,
He's like,
which is
Khaleesi, I have to go defend Gotham, my
yeah,
queen.
they just dress him up like Batman from Dark Knights of Steel. He just has the whole like little steel outfit.
You hear it coming from a mile away, like,
Yeah. Chink, 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 chink,
like
chink.
we hear you. We don't know where you're at, but we fucking hear you.
So Titans, Batman is like, I killed the Joker for revenge against Red Hood. I'm fucking done. I can't do this anymore. Be a better Batman, Dick. And Dick's just like, all right, well, let me work with Barbara Gordon, who's Oracle. Like, she's the police commissioner. She's like, okay, don't fuck it up. And then Nightwing brings in the Titans, and they eventually fuck it up. And the villains of that season are Red Hood and Scarecrow. Red Hood has been manipulated by the Scarecrow. Um, I don't really care for Titans season 3
How
for
did
a
they
lot
do
of
Red Hood?
reasons.
Like, was it good or was it bad? I saw his costume and it looked pretty cool, but that's it.
Um, it's just so funny to me because I don't know why. I think of Red Hood as like an adult, and the actor has such a baby face. Whenever he takes it off, I can't take him seriously. I'm just like, please put the helmet back on. I can't do
Is it like
this.
the whole Kylo Ren thing? It's like, dude, just shut up and put on your helmet kind of thing.
Like, kind of.
Ah, okay, okay,
But
okay, okay.
the story is so weird simply because his beef is with the Titans and not Batman. And it's just so odd. It's such an odd story. But he's basically being manipulated
Mm.
by Scarecrow. Eventually, he helps them save the city because Scarecrow's trying to poison the city. Notable things that happen is that Donna Troy, who died in the last season, comes back, and Tim Drake joins the team. And then in season 4, they deal with a bad guy called Brother Blood. He's a Titans villain.
Oh
And
man, did Brother Crip come out?
oh my god. Anyway,
Come on, you
I'm
know.
ignoring that joke. I'm ignoring that joke. That was clever, but I'm ignoring it. This one is about it delves a bit more into like Superboy and the Lex Luthor influence.
I've
Beast
always
Boy
liked
and where his
I've
powers
always
come from. Mhm.
I've always liked that the whole Superboy story where he doesn't really know who he is because like he has two dads and Lex Luthor's always like I'm your true father and
Mhm.
that's always been a cool plot that I feel like hasn't really been properly explored in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I totally get that. There's a really fun comic in a moment in the 2003 Teen Titans where they find that out, and Connor's just like, "Oh god, I could turn evil," and Tim Drake is just like, "You could turn bald." And I just think that's really funny.
I think
But,
what's it called? Young
mhm,
Justice does a really good job of at that plot too. If you guys want to go watch that, I think it's like early
mhm.
in the show they do that. Sorry, I'm
Oh, yeah, no,
rambling.
it's okay. Yeah, they have some fun moments with it, and they play with it in a fun way, but Yeah, it's funny that Lex just wanted to have a baby with Superman. You know, he does what he wants to do. But the point is, it's brother blood, and it has to do more with Trigon and magic and Starfire, Beast Boy, and Superboy and Raven. They all get some highlights, and it ends very sweetly.
Do you think
If
that's where they
you're
should have ended the show?
um, the thing is, I'm not sure because it kind of comes off as an ending, yet it's like our story ends, yet we never end. Because it's like,
Ah,
oh, we're all gonna go our separate ways, but when you need us, just let us know. And it very much ends with Dick Grayson and Starfire getting together. And it's honestly it's funny because it's a very sweet scene that's been
mhm.
building up for over 4 seasons. So it works really well.
I
And I really like it, but then, like, it's like, oh, it's like a fun, like, song, and they're, like, dancing, and the sunlight's behind them, and then it goes to black. Then it cuts to Superboy flying, like, "Oh," and it's just funny because I feel like that is Titans. It's like this big dramatic thing, and then it's cut by silliness, and I'm just like, "Oh my god, that's Titans to a T."
Wait, so how many seasons were there?
4.
Oh, okay, okay. For some reason, I thought there was 5 seasons.
No, there's only 4 seasons.
Okay, so season 4 kinda ends with all of them falling in love. Okay, I have a question.
Mhm. Yeah, you can
Do
ask me anything ever.
do they ever? Because I remember I watched, like, a little bit of season 2, I think. Do they ever, like, kind of talk about that story with Starlight, it's not Starlight, Starfire being in, like, the
Mhm.
mob? Because that was a whole thing in season 1, I remember.
She was there, undercover trying to get more information on Trigon and stuff.
Okay, so they explore that. What
Mm.
about the tie-in with the Doom Patrol? Because they literally, like, run into them and all that. Does that kind of, or is that
It it
just
gets
a one and done?
it gets a little messy because there's this episode people like a lot, where it's, written by the actor who does Garfield, Ryan Potter, and, he cares about the role a lot. He's a really good actor in that show. I really like him. In the first season, there's a that universe is Doom Patrol, and then in the 4th season, like, Beast Boy does some dimension hopping via his powers. Because Beast Boy is connected to, like, this green mystical shit, like, it's complicated to explain. But basically, he visits another version of the Doom Patrol,
Uh-huh.
and they have some fun interactions, and we finally get to see a live action Beast Boy and Cyborg together.
Ooh, that sounds
That
fun.
yeah, they have, like, a quick moment, and I'm like, "Oh, that's cute." I wish it woulda happened in, Titans, but yeah, that's cute.
Okay, okay,
But
so
mhm.
that's all of it then. It doesn't I don't know. I don't think I'm ever gonna, like, really watch that, but I'm
You don't have to.
I'm gonna take a play out of your book, and I'm happy for you.
Thank you. I will say if anyone's ever wanting to watch Titans, I would say start with the 2nd season, episode 2. That's what I'm gonna say. Start 2nd season, episode 2, and if you like it, you'll probably like the rest of it. Uh, I would definitely say 2 is my favorite.
Mhm.
You know what? Ah, that's a tough one. It's a close tie between 2 and 4, and then, I will say it's tough because I really don't like 1, and I really don't like 3, but I guess 3 is more comic booky, so I guess I'll say that's, like, 2nd to last, and the 1st season's the worst for me, but, yeah, if you ever wanna watch it, try season 2, you might like it.
So,
I find it enjoyable.
it seems like too as the show goes on, they become, like, less edgy, huh?
Oh, yeah, no, I think one of the reasons I like season 2 is because even the lighting is different. Even it's shot differently, it's shot
Hmm.
better, and, it's interesting because it's a far more comic booky. Because season 2 has, like, Beast Boy changes more, and we see Superboy doing some, like, flying and laser eyes, and there's a bit more colorfulness to it.
Okay.
Mhm, so I think season 2, they brighten it up while they still have the gritty factor just because that's sort of like a staple of the show,
Mhm.
but, it is brightened up a lot.
Okay, okay, okay.
So yeah, I feel that went on for far longer than I thought it was going to. But yeah, Titans is over. I'm sad it's over and happy it's over. It's a mixture of both.
Now, Would you be
Mhm.
would you be upset if they did like a Titans like they bring it back to some capacity?
I'd be actually excited. I just hope they'd. I just don't know where they. I don't. I'd be like, what's the story you're gonna do? Like,
Hmm.
where I would hope they could bring in some new characters because as much as I love the characters, I would love some fresh blood. You know, bring in the Flash or Kid Flash, whatever you're gonna call him. Bring in Roy Harper. Bring in Lilith Clay. Bring in Bumblebee. Like, bring in other Titans and play with them. Just because we've had such a consistent cast, it's kind of set up as like Dick and Nightwing and Starfire are gonna lead their little group because everyone else is going off. So I feel like if you started another season, you could have like the two of them recruiting and picking up some other heroes. I think it could be interesting. DC, I know you're listening. Hire me to write a pitch for Titan season 5 and we'll get it made. It'll be fun. Hire me. No.
Do it.
That's whenever I go into job interviews, like in person or on Zoom. They're just like, "Why should we hire you?" And I just go, "Hire me. Do it now. Yes, yes." And I have like a little hoodie on. My fingers are out like I'm Sidious. I'm like, yes, hire me. So yeah,
So we had a whole thing built
Mhm.
up for this, and I don't know how to transition into this, but Mother's Day is coming up.
I
And
could have made a joke about dead moms because everyone has dead moms, but
yeah, but we don't have dead moms yet.
you don't. Oh my god, Lewis. Today on the show, we're gonna be talking about our favorite good and bad moms from pop culture. I'd like to say, shout out to all the moms out there. For those of you who don't have moms or have horrible mothers, I am your mother now. Um, I love you, and I wish you to eat more because you're looking a little thin.
You're gonna be
I'm just
that parent.
saying. I was talking to Miss Johnson outside of the Smart and Final, and she was saying that you've been looking a little skinny lately.
All right. So Noah made a list of
Mhm.
the best moms in media. All right.
Mhm.
So hit us with it, Noah.
Okay, should I go like five one category and then five the other?
You know, hold on. How about this? Because I'm making my stuff up on the fly.
Okay.
So we'll go. You go first. You go first. Because
Okay.
yours is gonna
So
be a lot more cohesive than mine.
okay, top 5 good moms. Number 5 is, Lois from Malcolm in the Middle.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say Family Guy. I was about to say she is a shitty mom.
Oh, no, she's on my bad mom list.
Oh, okay, okay.
She's on my bad mom list.
You know,
Uh,
speaking of Lois from Malcolm in the Middle, I did see a clip on TikTok and it made me want to go back and rewatch it. It was like one of the final scenes of Malcolm in the Middle where she's telling Malcolm, you need to struggle in life because this is how you're gonna be a better person this way. You're gonna be
mhm,
more empathetic, and these hardships will make you a better person. And it's vital you go through this. I know it sucks, and I'm sorry, but you have to do this. But there's a lot more to that like monologue scene,
mhm.
and I was like, "Fuck, she's a good actor," and I just felt like the love in that scene.
Yeah, I know exactly what scene you're talking about. It's from one of the last episodes because they're all, like, muddy and dirty, right?
Yeah, mhm.
And they're talking about, like, "Oh," like, Malcolm is just like, "You can't have my entire life planned out for me. I'm not doing what you want." And she's like, "Oh, you will, because you're smart and you're a good person and you need to take charge because you're the only one who understands what people like us go through." And there's this whole monologue she does. It's very good. It's about like him becoming president.
Yeah, mhm.
And he's just like, "What if I want to be a tech millionaire and live the rest of my life?" And then
Like, no,
Mr.
that's
Heisen,
Dewey.
yeah, Mr. Heisenberg is just like, "Oh, that's Dewey," and he's like, "It is." It's very funny. But yeah, that's number 5. Number 4, I have is Marge Simpson.
That's a good one. That's a really good one.
It's the thing is like early Marge is really good, but as the show progresses, they try to play with the characters more, and you actually get to see because I watch seasons that are coming out today because I'm
How
crazy.
how is it? I've been kind of thinking about doing that.
I have mixed thoughts on it.
The animation looks a little weird to me. That's one of
It is a bit odd. Some of the voices sound like they should stop. Like the Mr. Burns voice is just like, just let him retire, please. He sounds so old. Like,
Mm.
let him retire. But it's as the show progresses, she becomes a bit more insecure. You get to see a lot more of her flaws,
Uh-huh.
particularly with Lisa and like how she sees her life for her. And Lisa's just like, I want to find out. And Marge is like, "Mm." Like, so it's an interesting. I don't know. I find interest in watching it still,
Okay.
even though the characters are taken in strange directions. So that's number 4. Number 3 I have is Sarah Connors in Terminator.
I love how it's Malcolm in the middle. It's The Simpsons. Terminator.
She's a good mom. She's a good mom. I don't know what to tell you. She's a really
I'm
good
sorry, that just
mom.
fucking completely
Mhm.
blindsided me. I was not prepared for that. Okay, go on,
Like,
go on.
she will fight to the death for her child, and I appreciate that.
Okay.
She Number 2 is, another lady, Joyce Byers from Stranger Things.
Joyce. Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah,
And
the mom, she
Ramona
does
Ryder's
so much.
be a
Yeah,
cutie.
she is a cutie. She's a great lady. She does a lot for her kids. Like, she does not stop looking for her kid. And then she kind of, like, pseudo adopts the rest of the gang in a way. And, like, she just, like, is a really good person, and, uh, she has her own faults, of course, and I think it's a little irresponsible that she left, like, those kids alone for so long, but it was in
And then they
service
got
for a
attacked
greater
by the
good.
government.
Yeah. They got attacked. But then again, if she was there, what the fuck could she have done? You know?
She could have just looked at him weird, gave him that look. You know what look I'm talking about.
Just sends them to a room. It's
Yeah.
like, "Go home." And they're like, "Okay." And, number 1 I have is Linda Belcher from Bob's Burgers.
That was one on my list too.
I just think she's a really good mom. She accepts her kids no matter how fucking weird. She supports them even if she doesn't want to.
Uh-huh.
And she has her flaws, but, like, she's just, like, a genuinely good person and mother.
Uh-huh.
And, she'll and it's the thing is, like, all these moms are good moms. It's just, like, in relation of how much I like them, so that's why Linda Belcher's at the top. Because I watch a lot of Bob's Burgers,
Mhm.
and
Okay.
that's sort of my list. Do you wanna go over your favorite moms? Maybe not in, like, list of favorite or just, like,
Yeah.
ones that you think are.
So the first one that comes to mind is Chi-Chi from Dragon Ball.
Mhm,
I think she is the most underrated character in the series now because they don't do anything with her. But she is by far one of the best moms in anime, I believe. I will fight anyone who says otherwise.
ooh,
Because
I honestly, I'd rather say Bulma over Chi-Chi.
and here's the reason why I say
Okay,
that.
I'm sorry. Go, go, go.
So
I'm
here's
sorry.
the reason why I say that. Because she understands what fighting can do to you. She gets it firsthand.
Mhm,
And not only is she fucking rich beyond her wildest imagination, she chooses
mhm,
to live a humble life and, live on a farm. And she understands that her son Gohan can be the strongest fucking entity alive. She completely gets that because he saved the universe. But instead of having him go and be like, no, you're gonna be just like your father, because she sees what Goku goes through, all of this hardship, all of
mhm,
this unnecessary, so depending how you look at it, but like she doesn't want that life for him. She's like, I want you to be happy. I want you to have a family. And,
mhm,
instead of being the world's best fighter, I want you to be the world's best educator. I want you to be one of the world's best minds. And in a lot
mhm,
of ways, that's a lot more helpful than going and beating the fuck out of Margin Buu, because
mhm.
it kind of helps with like more of your day to day shit. So I think that Bulma, not yeah, no, fuck Chi Chi. Sorry, see you got Bulma in my head. I think that Chi Chi's one of the best moms because of
You
that.
know, yeah, he is always been like a little bit of a scholar, and that's like the thing in the Cell Saga is that he's not a fighter. He hates
Mhm,
violence. He only does it because he has to. And he's
mhm,
only pushed to that because his father recognizes his potential, and it's this whole thing where she doesn't want his whole life to be about fighting. She
uh-huh.
wants him to have a life outside of that because outside of fighting, Goku has very little that he cares about.
Yeah, and it shows too because they do this in Dragon Ball Super. It's a really funny scene where he's
Mhm,
farming, and instead of farming, he starts training, and because of that, his son almost gets killed.
mhm,
And that's a whole thing too. Like he doesn't outside of fighting, Goku has no identity. So and another one, like, to kind of keep it in anime, I'm kind of looking around too. I'm like panicking as I'm saying all this.
You can
um,
just repeat mine. Sarah Connor.
is to
Yeah.
keep it in the family.
Mhm.
I've been a big fan of the mangas. I've been reading them since they've been translating them into English. Is Yoi
Fucking
Forger?
weeb.
Yeah, right. Is Yoi Forger from Spy X Family?
Mhm.
I think she's a really that whole series is super. You would like it a lot, Noah. You would actually like the series a lot. I'd recommend you watch it or read it.
You know, I saw the first episode and I enjoyed it. I just never like pursued it.
Yeah, I'm a few volumes behind on the manga, but you would really like that's right up your alley. And she's just this she's like a badass. She's a whole assassin and all this and that. And she could like fucking kill you with like a flick of a penny. But
Mhm.
this whole time she sees her adopted child and she's like, "Oh my god, I instead of learning how to kill, I need to learn how to fucking raise. I need to learn how to be there for someone." And it's this whole sweet little thing with her kind of worlds colliding where it's like, "Oh, you fucking mugged my daughter. Now I need to kill you." And then right as soon as she's about to like kill them, she's like, "Oh shit, everyone's watching me. I can't fucking I got to hold it back a bit, you know?"
Mhm.
I think she's another good example too cuz it's a thing of you don't necessarily have to be, and I subscribe to this belief very heavily. Just because you're not blood doesn't make you family, you know?
Mhm.
And that's very much the thing too. It's that old cheesy saying like I'm not the stepfather, I'm the father who stepped up, you know? It's
Mhm.
very much that because she's not her that's not her actual child, but she took the responsibility of raising another child who's not even hers. And I think that's something that's really cool and that's something you don't really see a lot, especially like in anime where couples adopt a child and just kind of raise them as their own without them being like you're gonna be the next Hokage or some shit like that where like they're gonna be the fucking savior of the galaxy. No, it's just a little girl. So that's something I like a lot. Another one going on my list is Noah really likes this newfound love I have for this character because I didn't really know too much about them at the time. Is Miles Morales, and I really like his mom. I
Oh yeah.
I think Miles's mom is a fucking great example of what a mom should be because she's always calling him and it's like it's one of those things you like I kind of wish I had with my mom where it's like I wish you'd call me at like the most inconvenient times like hey honey how you doing and that you see those especially I don't know about the comic books but in the video game it's all the time where he's swinging around
Mhm.
fighting fucking, goons on the street, and he's like, "Oh, hey, mom, this and that." Like, she's like, "Oh, you sound busy." He's like, I'm kind of just running." He's coming up with stupid excuses and stuff, and especially
Mhm.
at the end too, when he figures out who he really is, and instead of discouraging him from doing that because she knows whatever she says isn't gonna work, she actively helps him. Says, "You're a smart kid. You have a good heart and a good sense of judgment. I will support you on this as long as you're not a fucking idiot." She doesn't say that, but
Mhm.
it's kind of implied.
Yeah, like she gives her blessing.
Yeah, and I thought that was like super cool. So I think Miles's mom earns a spot on there as well. And then another one I was gonna say is Bob's from Bob's Burger. I don't what's her name again?
Linda?
Linda. All for all the same reasons you said. Because she was
Mhm.
already on my list for that. And I was kind of thinking Marge Simpson at the same time, but I was like, no, I have to like spice it up a little bit. It has to be a little bit different, you know? And I think a good mom in comic books, in my opinion, is I forget her name, but it's Invisible Woman from Fantastic Four.
Oh yeah.
What's her actual name?
Sue Storm?
Sue Storm. Sue Storm is I think she's one of the she's a fucking dope mom. And there's a lot of instances too where like the Baxter building gets invaded and she goes into fucking full on like Terminator mode where she will wipe anyone in her fucking way if her babies are hurt or even
Mhm.
she is I think especially that's one thing I really like about the Fantastic Four and I hope they really do it well eventually when it comes to the MCU before hopefully before it dies is that they they embody that family because that's what the Fantastic Four is. They're like the first family. So,
Mhm.
and she's such a great mom, and she does
She
such a
is a
great
good mom.
job. So yeah, that's those are my list in no particular order. I don't know about Bad Moms. I gotta kind of brainstorm about that a little bit more, but
You
I'll
know
let you
what? You
take it
can
away.
you can think of them as I say mine.
Yeah.
So also, I was in the car with my friend of the show, Diana, and
Mhm.
she called me. She's just like, "You're just Linda Belcher," and I said, "Maybe I am."
That's not a bad thing.
Yeah, I was just like, "Oh, you gotta watch out, sweetie," and I was saying something, and she was like,
Have
"You're Linda."
Have you seen the movie, the Bob's Burger movie?
I haven't.
It's good. It's a
I
musical.
it,
You'd like it too.
I know. I see it pops up on my Hulu all the time, and I'm just like, "Why don't I pull the trigger?"
Go fucking watch it, bro. That's such a good
Which
movie.
is funny because I will watch like 2 episodes in a row, and I'm like, "I should just watch the movie. It's the
And
same time."
hold on, what's cool about the show and the movie? I'm not not that I'm a big fan of the show. It's just I just don't watch it. My girlfriend
Mhm,
watches. She's the big Bob's Burger fan to me. I watch it whenever it's on in the background when we're hanging out. But apparently, for whatever season was coming out for Bob's Burger, the show versus the movie, there's a whole
mhm,
plot point. It's not really much of a spoiler, but there's like a sinkhole that's like right in front of their store, and it
mhm.
just opens up, and there's then that's like it sets the movie into motion. But as you're watching the show leading up to that movie, you could see the sinkhole start to form, and it gets bigger and bigger and bigger in each time they show it. So that's a cool little nod of like building up to the movie without like saying, "Hey, go watch the movie." So if you do watch it, just kind of be on the lookout for that. I think that's a cool little thing that they did.
That is cool. Um, now for my bad moms. Number 5 is,
Bad Moms.
Bad Moms. Beatrice Horseman from BoJack Horseman,
Oh. Oh god.
and
You
she's the last on my list just because while she is an awful person, she very much is a victim of her circumstances.
Mhm.
Like, just this like, the world she grew up in and high society and how they treated women. And, like, we saw her mother spoilers for the show. We saw that her mother had, like, an old lobotomy because she was, like, hysterical and they didn't wanna treat mental health. They just said, "Let's just give her a lobotomy," instead of treating her. So, she saw her mother go through some horrendous things,
Yeah.
and she herself went through many horrendous things. And even though she is a horrible person, she her life was so fucked up, I can kind of not forgive it, but I can understand it.
Mm.
So that's my number 5. Number 4 is Mystique from Marvel Comics.
She's a mom?
Yeah, she's mother to a
Nightcrawler, huh?
Nightcrawler and Rogue,
Okay, I didn't know she was
and
Rogue's
it's
mom.
funny because she's, like, clearly favors and loves Rogue a lot. She's like she's just like, "My blue kid, I don't give a fuck. My white kid, I love her." It's just like, "Damn, okay." And she's very much toxic. Like, for instance, one time in the comics, she tries to seduce Gambit as, like, a teenage student to break up him and Rogue. Like, he'll like, there's a scene where he's, like, taking a shower, and she shows up as a student, like, trying to seduce him, and Gambit's just like, "What the fuck's wrong with you? Get the fuck off me." And then later
What?
yeah, it's a whole thing. And she's obsessed with protecting Rogue to almost her detriment. Like, if there's a thing where she's like, "Oh, Rose," like, let's say, like, this is like an instance mixing 2 things together. Like, her wife Destiny is just like, "Oh, I see in this fight," like, her wife can, like, see the future.
Mhm.
She's like, "Oh, I see that Rogue is gonna die in this fight." Mystique's way of handling that will be to go to Rogue and stab her to put her in the hospital so she doesn't end up in the fight. Like, that's her form of protection. Like, that's how Mystique's brain works. She's like, "Oh, you're gonna die in this fight. I'll knock you out and stab you so you can't be in the fight that easy." Like, that's how her logic works. It's horrible. But, yeah, that's number 4. Number 3 is Cersei. Cersei from Game of Thrones.
Yeah, that's a good one.
She's in a sense, she's kind of similar to Beatrice Horseman in the sense that, she is somewhat a victim of circumstance, but I think the big difference between them is that Beatrice had distaste and wanted to separate from her child, wherein Cersei was, like, so obsessed with her children and their fate that she viewed them as, like, an extension of herself and was so controlling that she did end up causing, like, the deaths of some of her kids, you know? It's like, I feel like she was a big hand in their trajectory of how
What
their lives were
what
formed.
what kids just remind me, what kids did she kill again? Because I remember she married one,
Um,
right? She
I
married
bu I believe the daughter is. I believe the daughter. I don't remember. I have a hard time. I think the daughter's alive, but I know for sure that Joffrey dies and then Tommen
But
dies.
Joffrey was a piece of shit. Anyways, we
Mhm.
were all happy when he died.
Because when she blows up the religious fanatics with the Tyrells in that fire scene,
That was a good scene, by the way.
yeah, it was a good scene. But Tommen sees it and he's like, "Oh fuck, that's my wife. That's the religion I believe in." And he just kills him. He like jumps. He
That's
walks off the
right.
roof.
Yeah, I
Yeah, he
remember
kills
that.
himself because he's like, "I can't handle this. I'm not prepared to handle this. I can't do this." And he lets himself die,
Yeah, okay,
which is
okay, okay.
sad. I feel like Tommen, as naive as he was, he seemed like a good kid.
Yeah, he was the only good Lannister.
And that's number 3. Number 2 is Lady Shiva from DC Comics. She's the mother of Cassandra Cain, aka Batgirl, sometimes called Orphan. Uh, she was so focused on her daughter being able to fight that she didn't teach her how to speak. It was like, you can only learn how to fight. You don't need to speak. You just need to understand. And she's
Damn.
also like a terrible mother who will like stab her daughter if she has to. They don't have a good relationship. It's really bad. But yeah, that's number 2. And then number 1, I have is Lois Griffin from Family Guy. She's after all these child killers, and Lois Griffin's the worst just because she pretends to care. That's the worst part of her. Is that she pretends to like her kids. Like she's just the worst mother that pretends to love, but really she just belittles and attacks them. Like I remember this one time where they were in like a sewer and Joe falls down like a hole and Lois is trying to pull up Joe. He's like, Lois, think of me as your children. And she starts letting him go. And he's like, not Meg, not Meg, not Meg. And she pulls him up. And okay,
I remember
there's a
that episode too.
my top 10 Family Guy episodes is the one where it's a storm and Meg tells them all off.
Mhm.
And it's really good, and, like, everything she says about Lois is correct. My only regret with that episode is that she realizes that the family in order for the family to get along, they need to talk shit about her.
Mm.
So then she goes up to them and she's like, "You're right, I'm insecure, da, 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 da," and then everyone's like, "Oh, she is right. She is insecure. There's nothing wrong with us." I fucking hate that so much. I hate it so much. And Lois is it's funny because I do find Lois fun sometimes when they make mom jokes about her.
Uh-huh.
Like they've been because I'm a bit of a freak. I'm a little bit of a quirky guy, and I watch current Family Guy episodes,
Mhm.
and they make a lot of mom jokes about her. She's just like there was a skit where she's like post something on Facebook, and like you scroll down and you see her mom posts, and then she likes one of her own posts, and she's like, "All right, this will get it going." I just think that's really funny. So yeah, she's number 1 on bad moms for me, and that's sort of my 5 for good and bad.
That's a really solid list,
Thank
and
you.
if I'm being honest with you, I can't I kind of struggled a little bit because I came up with it on the spot. Coming up with the good moms, I don't think I could come up with a bad moms list, but
You can say Lois Griffin too. We can all agree that Lois is awful.
yeah, but here's the thing though, she's a likable awful, you know?
Yeah.
It's like you can't get enough of her because of how much of a how fucking deluded she is as a person, and that's
Oh,
what makes her likable in a fucked
oh,
up way.
there was a recent episode I watched where it was just like it was so bad. Lois was seeing like a middle school friend and they were having dinner, and she was just like, "So how did you and Peter meet?" And Peter's just like, "Oh, we met in high school, and I told her I'd kill myself if she didn't go out with me." And I was and then and then at the end of the episode, Lois, like, she feels like she's overcome some trauma, and she's like, "I guess there are things in my life that I can work through." And she goes, "Peter, there's something we need to talk about." And Peter, with no expression, just goes, "Lois, I'll kill myself." And then she just goes, "Okay." And then she takes out a book and she starts reading. It's really sad.
I remember that one. I remember that joke too. That's the fucking funny part.
That's
Uh,
really sad, but very funny.
all right.
That whole family is awful.
Yeah, they're all kind of pieces of shit. But
Okay, but do you have any bad moms like off the top of your
at
head?
the top of my head, fuck, like I'd probably have to say, just because I've been watching a lot of it, is Shameless. The mom in Shameless, she's a piece of
Mhm.
shit. So yeah, have you started watching it, by the way?
I have not. I'm sorry. Completely forgot.
SMH.
I'm sorry. Please forgive me.
But yeah, I gotta say her, and yeah, I can't really think of anyone right now at the top of my head. I'm sorry.
Wanda's a bad mom, I guess.
Wanda's just a bad character.
Okay, no, here's the thing, she's a bad mom, I'll never forget, because, yeah, she loves her kids, but I'll never forget in that movie when she's just like, "I'm going to go to another universe where my kids are alive," or whatever,
Mhm.
and Doctor Strange is just like, "Yeah, but what about their mother, Wanda?" And she doesn't say anything, because you know that bitch is gonna go to another universe, kill that mom, and just take over the lives of these kids.
Oh yeah, 110%.
And I'm just like, "Mm, just just stop." Just that's what I would have said if I was, like, at that temple when she was invading, I'd just be like, "Hey, can you just stop? Can you just cut it out? Like, we're not into this. Nobody's into this.
Leave us alone.
Just go home. Like, go adopt some orphans or something. I don't know what to tell you." So, yeah, that's another bad mom. You're a big JoJo fan. Are there any bad moms in JoJo?
Mm, no, they're all pretty good actually.
Just bad dads?
Nah, I think the whole JoJo family is actually pretty
Isn't what's the one that looks like he's in college with the coat?
Jotaro.
Isn't he a bad dad? I think he's a bad dad.
They kind of see that's the thing too. Did you ever finish JoJo? Did you ever finish that?
I did not.
Good. It falls off bad in my opinion.
But at the beginning of Stone Ocean, she's just like,
Yeah.
"Why were you never here, dad? What the fuck?"
So they do some like explaining where it's like
Like,
I was protecting you sort of thing, that whole trope. But
mhm,
I feel like as the show goes on, that season, you see that, oh no, he really does love her, you know? And the final, like, his final moment in the show really
mhm,
reflects that a lot.
gotcha.
So yeah,
And I know that you don't really care for the ending of that season.
yeah, no, it gets the creator of JoJo, bless his heart, but he likes to make things overly complicated sometimes. And
Mhm.
I think the ending for like that universe is just so fucking, it's unnecessarily complicated because the implications of all of it is just really weird once you really start to think about it. Don't get me started
You
on
know
JoJo. Just don't
yeah,
get me started on
yeah.
it.
I just because of the way that show, like it's just the way the show's executed, like, I'll never for it's very anime in the sense that, like, "Ha I hit you with this poison," and and then you'll, like, screens the person being hit with poison, they're like, "Actually, I stretched out my stand to create an intricate web that'll cover me.
There's
That way I can toss it right back at you." And they're like, "Actually, with my stand, I can freeze time and stop that and slowly move
it's
out of the way."
it's like Yu-Gi-Oh, where it's like, "Oh, you've
Yeah.
activated my trap card." Like I remember there was this part in season 2 where they're talking where it's Joseph
Mhm,
and he's fighting this is before they introduce stands in the show. So they're using an ability called Hamen, and it's like they harness the power of the sun to fight vampires. So
mhm,
that's how they fight him. And he's fighting like this vampire lord, king, whatever you want to call him. And they're fighting on top of like these metal spikes. And if they lose concentration, they're gonna fall and like impale themselves on the spikes. But obviously the vampire won't die because it's a vampire. So and he's getting his ass beat by this vampire. And this is the only episode where he's like wearing a beanie. And as he's fighting him, he's like, "Oh, good time to die, Jojo." And he was like, "Actually, little did you know, I've been stringing along weaves of my beanie, creating a minefield for you, and you're trapped in my battle." I'm like, "What the fuck did that happen?"
It's very much like Naruto, like, you're trapped in my illusion. No, you're trapped in my illusion. Well, actually, this whole time since the moment you stepped forward on this floor, you've been trapped in my illusion.
You know what? You know what? Now that I'm kind of saying it out loud, you know what JoJo reminds me of?
Mhm.
It's like when you're playing like imagination in like a schoolyard when you're like fucking sticks and you're
Mhm.
someone like says, "Oh, I
Yeah.
punched you with my superpowers. Oh no, see, I actually have like body armor, but my superpower counteracts that body armor, but my body armor reflects that, so actually you got hurt."
Yes.
And it's just that the little kids not wanting to lose, so they come up with the stupidest fucking things to
100%.
That's JoJo, and that's why I love it so much because of how fucking stupid it can be.
I feel like sometimes that's just, like, a lot of shonen anime too.
Oh, 100%, 110%. That's why I love shonen so much because I can just turn off my fucking monkey brain and just be like, "Okay, I'm just gonna."
Yeah, you can just enjoy it.
Uh-huh. God. But
Oh,
on
Jesus.
that note, we're gonna end the podcast. I know Mother's Day is, like, tomorrow, right, or something? Or Monday?
It's, Monday.
Yeah, so there you go, moms. This is our gift to you.
Yeah, mom, I didn't get you anything, but I recorded this podcast, and I feel like that's good enough.
So thank you guys for listening, and as homework for your as your homework for the week, go and go
Mhm,
support your local milfs. That's my homework for you guys. Whether that means go give them $5, go
mhm.
see how they're doing, go support
Yeah,
your
you
local
know
milf.
what? Go to the local dive bar because they're probably working there. Either
Yeah.
there or Walmart.
Now don't misconstrue this to be any weird sexual way.
Yeah,
I'm just
no, we're talking about the mom economy.
Yeah, go support the mom economy, okay?
You know what? Head to the closest Home Goods or Target and find a mom and just say thank you.
Yeah, and then go give her $5.
And then when she asks what it's for, just don't say anything. Just walk away.
No, you wink. And then
Oh, you wait.
yeah, you just make it as weird as you can. Just
You're
wink
just
and
like,
walk away.
wink, ding, and then walk away.
Okay, but that's it.
My
No,
homework is for everyone to go get Titans #1 coming out the 16th. You fucking wiener. Go get a comic right now, you loser. That's all I gotta say.
okay, but no,
Yeah.
if people want to find you, where can they find you?
Oh my gosh, I feel like I have this memorized. If you wanna find me, you can go to Noah is Garcia on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Help me in our non-existent war because Lewis thinks we're fighting for followers when in reality he has so many more followers than me. But,
I had
help me
one
win this.
video blow the fuck up, and I've peaked. It's never it's never
Hey,
hit that again.
you might peak again, you never know because you didn't think you'd peak with that video, did you?
I just ripped off another person, and I was like, oh,
Exactly,
that's all TikTok
exactly.
is.
That's all TikTok is. Um, so yeah, TikTok, and you can follow my photography on Noah Garcia _photography and my comic musings at comics and comic pages at wordpress.com. Oh my god. It's funny because I said I had this memorized and I'm falling apart. Lewis, where can people find you?
People can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Luis Gutierrez.
Mhm.
And if you want to follow my work and support my work, you can go. This is really cool. I like kind of like bragging to people about this. You could go to google.com and then type in my full name, Luis Joshua Gutierrez, and all of my stuff will pop up right there. But you can just go to ign.com, look up Luis Joshua Gutierrez, or gamespot.com and look up Luis Joshua Gutierrez, and you can follow my stuff right there. Or you could watch me on Twitch over at twitch.tv/I'm Joshua Joestar. Go give me some money over there. Okay, I just want your money. That's the only reason why I do anything, for money.
I will say right now that I googled you and the first thing to come up is GameSpot.
See?
Yeah.
I'm really proud about that, actually. It's like really
Funny
cool.
enough, the third thing that pops up is your Instagram because second is IGN.
So in terms of Google like SEO, I guess my Instagram is more popular. Which
Yeah,
is funny.
everyone go follow him on Instagram. He has some good pics.
I hardly post on there, but yeah. So, but
Honestly, same.
But yeah, that's all of it. I hope you guys have a great day, great night, great afternoon. Thank you for listening. And if you made it this far, please be sure to give us a good little review.
Goodbye.
And we strike at dawn.
Goodbye.